Welcome, everyone. I'm Kerro O'Shea, the coordinator of Membership Voice and host for our webinar tonight. And tonight, of course, we have Strengthening Clubs, presented by Adrian Roach, a conversation with Adrian. But it's my privilege to introduce Adrian Roach, who's a remarkable Rotarian, to do a presentation tonight. Adrian's a past governor, of course, from District 9675 in 2015-16. And since then, he's just gone from strength to strength. Of course, prior to that, I found out a moment ago that Adrian actually started a very successful Rotary Club. It currently has 40 members. But besides that, Adrian is the current leader of the Rotary Membership Coordinator team for Zone 8, which is Australia, NZ and the Pacific Islands. He's an international legend, past chair of the Rotary Australia World Community Service Eastern Region. Of course, that's better known as Rorks in Rotary talk. He's a rural fire service volunteer, Justice of the Peace, kidney donor to another family member, and multiple Paul Harris Fellow recipients. So it is my very great privilege to introduce Adrian Roach. Over to you, please, Adrian.
Thank you very much for that lovely introduction. As Kerro mentioned, my name's Adrian Roach and I am a past district governor, but from District 9670, not 9675, 9670. And of course, we're in the Hunter Valley, where of course all the good wine comes from. I'm sure you'll all agree. And of course, I'm also the Zone 8 Rotary Coordinator, which you'll hear more about what my role is. So tonight I'm going to talk about the membership team. Who are they? What do we do? And how can you, as club district or members, tap into the member resources? So you'll probably recognise this young fellow on the screen. And this RI President Holger Nack said, Rotary isn't just a club for people to join, but rather an invitation to endless opportunities, which is very, very true there. Rotary's core values represent the guiding principles of the organisation's culture, including what guides members' priorities and actions within the organisation. Values are an increasingly important component in strategic planning because they drive the intent and direction of the organisation's leadership. And of course, those core values are service, and we believe that our service activities and programs bring about a greater world understanding and peace. Service is a major element of our mission. Through the plans and actions of individual clubs, we create a culture of service throughout our organisation that provides unparalleled satisfaction for those who serve. Then we've got fellowship. We believe that individual efforts focus on individual needs, but combined efforts serve humanity. The power of combined efforts knows no limitation, multiple resources, and broadens our lives and perspectives. Fellowship leads to tolerance and transcends racial, national, and other boundaries. And of course, we've got diversity, and we believe Rotary unifies all people internationally behind the ideal of service. We encourage diversity of vocations within our membership and in our activities and service work. A club that reflects its business and professional community is a club with a key to its future. Of course, integrity. We're committed to and expect accountability from our leaders and fellow members, both in the results of our efforts and in the processes we use to accomplish our goals. We adhere to high ethical and professional standards in our work and personal relationships. We are fair and respectful in our interactions, and we are consistently, conscientiously steward the resources entrusted to us. Leadership, of course, we are a global fellowship of individuals who are leaders in their fields of endeavour. We believe in the importance of leadership development and in the leadership as a quality of our members. As Rotarians, we are leaders in implementing our core values. Of all the core values are reflected in our objective Rotary and the four-way test, which we use in our daily lives. They inspire us to foster and support the ideal of service for developing and maintaining integrity in human relations. Okay, there we go. So next of all, I'm going to talk about our team. Here's our current team of dedicated, experienced Rotarians. We are led by our current director, Surgeon Chi Tu Lee from Taiwan. And of course, we work very closely with our incoming director, Jessie Harmon. Jessie's from Victoria, of course. We have the brilliant regional membership officer, Barbara Mitstead, who is the font of all knowledge of membership. At the editor's desk of Rotary On The Move, and I hope you're all receiving and reading Rotary On The Move, is Issa Shalab, who is now in his 11th year and doing a wonderful job as the editor. Our ARCs have districts that have been, I meant to say our ARCs are all past district governors, and of course we know how wise they are, except for Damien Leach, who is, well, he is wise, but he's not been a past district governor yet. Hopefully he's a future district governor, but he's a past president, and he is focused on youth and alumni. He's a youth and alumni membership specialist. The ARCs have districts, ARCs being assistant Rotary Coordinators, have districts that have been allocated for them to work closely with. Assistant Rotary Coordinators are part of a team dedicated to supporting and creating strong, dynamic and effective clubs and districts. Under the leadership of the Rotary Coordinator, which is me, they work with district leaders to identify and address membership challenges and build stronger clubs. They volunteer their expertise and skills in strategic planning, Rotary programs and service activities to emphasise member engagement. They often work closely with district membership chairs, assistant governors and other district leaders. They are selected for a one-year term and may be asked to serve up to 2 additional terms. The Rotary Coordinator manages the selection process, of course involving the Director. Of course, training is held to make sure that the assistant Rotary Coordinators are prepared to support their district leaders. Now, what does the team do? I'll just touch briefly on this. There's a lot of things they do, but they encourage, let's just go a bit here. They encourage innovative engagement with and new members' attractions, strategies to support membership growth and promote the benefits of membership. They communicate, promote and execute the strategies defined in our regional membership initiatives. They work with Rotaractors and Rotary program alumni and invite them into Rotary or keep them connected to the Rotary family. They develop and promote alumni associations. They promote the use of Rotary resources and publications, including Rotary Club Central. They encourage districts and clubs to follow up on the membership leads sent to them. And it's very disappointing. I read today that there's a very low figure. It's like 27% are the only ones followed up. There's a lot of membership leads that are sent to districts that just don't get followed up. They promote the efforts and approach of successful clubs as models for others. They participate in regional seminars or district meetings. This may include fieldwork or district support in their assigned regional seminars. They work with district governors, governors-elect, governors nominee, district membership attraction and engagement committee chairs, and other district leaders regularly to provide strategies for supporting, monitoring, and achieving membership goals, increasing gender and age diversity in clubs, and emphasising member engagement through effective volunteer activities, networking and programs and activities that support youth and young leaders and alumni. Meeting membership challenges such as offering more flexible club meetings, focusing on members' satisfaction and enhancing volunteer opportunities. Also developing and implementing strategic plans that align with Rotary's strategic plan priorities. And of course, promoting Rotary's priorities and initiatives. Now, what resources have we got? Well, of course, with membership, besides the assistant Rotary coordinators, the district membership chairs, and of course our regional membership officer, Barbara, here are the top 5 resources, I believe, for assisting clubs. And they're all available on My Rotary. You see that little link there, myrotary.org, learning reference, learning topic membership. You'll see the Rotary Club Health Check, very useful tool. Strengthening your membership, another great tool there to use. Creating a membership development plan. Membership assessment tools, introduction of new members. Obviously, one of the best resources is your ARC District Membership Chair and Barbara Misford. Other resources can help as well, as you see there on the screen. In addition, Rotary's got a variety of other tools and resources designed to facilitate membership development at the club and the district level. connect to district membership leads, how to manage membership leads, membership minute newsletter, membership best practice discussion group, district membership reports on My Rotary or Rotary Club Central. Strengthening clubs is all about creating an engaging, satisfying experience for current members and making the club more attractive to potential members. And then how can you tap in? Well, how can you tap into the membership assistance? You can talk to your district leadership team and let them know that you're keen and interested and have a passion for membership. You might want to become your club's membership chair, or you might want to get on the district membership committee. You may even want to be an assistant Rotary Coordinator. You need to talk to people and let them know what you're keen about doing. Talk to your assistant Rotary Coordinator and let them know. Another good tip is to read the Rotary On The Move newsletter. They've got lots of great tips and ideas. Visit My Rotary Learning Centre and, of course, connect with Rotary Membership Voice on Facebook. Now, we have regular seminars. You can join the regular seminars that are available. We've actually got one this Thursday. It's called New Style Rotary Clubs Forum. We conducted one back on the 3rd of September, which was very successful. In fact, we had over 100 people attend. Well, to tell you the truth, we only had 100 people attend. We had more people that wanted to attend, but unfortunately, the licence, which we thought was for 500, was only for 100. Anyway, we've got that fixed for the next one. So the next session is this Thursday, and it's all about starting a club from scratch, a new approach, innovation in action. And we've got Nick Courtney, Ari Groff, and of course Rebecca Fry talking to us on Thursday. So join the regular seminars. You'll see a link in the latest Rotary On The Move, and hopefully you would have received that. Paul Harris said we have to be revolutionary from time to time, and now is the time. One way to do this is by creating new club models and rethinking what it means to be in Rotary. In the New Style Rotary Clubs Forum webinar series, you'll get to engage with a range of local speakers who will share their knowledge and experience why, how, successes, and lessons learned. Be inspired, be bold, and start a new Rotary Club. And of course, I'd urge you, if you've got the time, to get there on Thursday at 6 till 7. You need to register, and if you can't get there, register so at least you'll get the recording of the episode, and also we send out FAQs, questions that have been asked, and we give you the answers to them. So that's about all that I had that I was going to tell you. So now I'll open it up to questions.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Adrian. That's great. Adrian, we do have some questions in here for you. As you've said, we waste a lot of membership leads, and this has been a problem for some time now. Do we need to really radically rethink how we handle those membership leads? Do we need to get better at connecting those opportunities with clubs?
Kara, we certainly do. And I think it starts from each district and the governor of the district working out with his team who's actually going to respond and to handle it. Because some districts have got a great system where there's someone allocated to follow up and to make sure it happens. And in other districts, it's a bit of hit and miss. So, yes, I think each district needs to look at how they're going to action the leads that they get and follow them through to the end.
Thank you. Thank you. Looking at that issue of, say, teamwork and the like, and just changing direction slightly, diversity and inclusion and equity are really important issues for us these days. From your position as a club builder, as a senior Rotary leader and as a membership coordinator, what can we do to encourage clubs to become more diverse, more inclusive and more welcoming? Well,
I think rather than just speak the speak, I think we've got to, walk the talk and make sure we do what we say we're going to do. A lot of clubs say, oh, look, we want to have more women involved in our club. But then when it comes to when they attend a meeting, they're kind of not made very welcome, not in all clubs, but in some clubs. and then all of a sudden they can't understand why women don't want to join their clubs. I think the clubs need to have a plan of how they're going to be inclusive of people in their community. And for a start, yes, women is one thing, but also the different ethnic groups who live in the areas. We've got to make sure that they're all invited and involved, and also the different age demographics. We shouldn't be closed to younger or older people. We should be open to everyone. And look, maybe the club is, let's call it a mature club. It's been around for a while and they're very happy doing lots of good things. Maybe it's not really suitable for them to have lots of young people in. But there's a way around that, and it's simply by starting a satellite club and having these young people start their own branch of the club. And I mean, the good thing about that is they can be there to help the mother club when they've got projects on and they need a hand. And it also gives them an opportunity to grow and to learn from the more senior members. So there's room for everybody.
That's great. And you have practical experience with starting successful clubs that attract young members. A question just in there from Margaret. How have your clubs been able to welcome young people?
Now, that's a very good question. Now, Kara, when I was at my previous club, so the club I'm in now is the one that I started with a group of people back in 2012. Previous to that, I was in a club that had been around for quite a long time. And I had invited over 40 people to the club with the view of them to join in. Now, I was able to get about 20 of those stayed with the club, but then the other 20 didn't stay. And I always made sure that I would sort of do an exit interview and say, look, just tell it to me straight. What did you like and didn't like about the club? And it was the same answers every time. They'd say, we thought the quality of members was great. You know, you've got the local magistrate, you've got the local Toyota car dealer, and they mentioned all these high-profile business people we had in the club, which we did. But they'd say, I don't understand why you're singing. I don't understand, you say you're non-religious, but why are you saying grace before your meal? Does that mean that Hindu people aren't welcome, or did you have to be a Christian to be in the club? And then they were saying, why do you sing songs like Pack Up Your Troubles in Your Old Kit Bag in the break? You know, why do you have a song session? Originally, when I was in the club, I was a bit miffed about why they had this too, but I spoke to my father about it, and my dad's a musician. He said to me, Adrian, what they used to do, as you guys go out to nightclubs and dance the night away, we used to go to halls and we used to do community singing. So that's what we did back in those days. So then I understood then why these guys were doing the singing, because that's what they grew up with. But anyway, what else did they say? Now saying, they didn't like the sergeant session. Why do you have a joke session where you rip each other off and then charge them 20 cents? What a waste of time that is. We also had a club, this is a bit funny, you'll get a laugh at this, where we met in a church hall. I didn't understand why we met in the church hall. We were allowed to have some drinks in the church hall, so they had beer and wine. They'd keep the beer out in a fridge in the back room, and then members who would set the hall up would get the beer out of the fridge at 3 o'clock and put it on the table for people to come and consume at 6 o'clock. Well, I don't know about you, I love a cold beer, but a hot beer doesn't really do it for me. So, I mean, one of the things I did in that club was I put a glass door fridge in and had it behind the curtain, so that kept the priest happy because the beer was not on display, but we could keep it cold and get a cold beer. So that was one thing I did for the club. But anyway, getting back to the story, all these people were saying the same thing to me. They like what Rotary did. They like the programs that we were involved with Youth Exchange. They like the Overseas Project. They liked all that, but they just said, Adrian, if we want to sing, we'll join a choir. If I want to pray, I'll go to church. I don't need to come here and drink hot beer and have cold chicken. You know, that doesn't do it for me. So I became the president of the club, and I tried to bring the team ahead with me. Sorry about that. I tried to bring the club along with me and to change some of the things. Well, you know, we managed to drop some of the singing. They weren't real happy about not saying the grace and and in the end, it just got really, really hard. And the thing was, I saw some younger people who were leaving. Like, they were young presidents who'd been president of the club, done lots of good things, but they were so frustrated they couldn't get it to change that they were leaving Rotary. And I thought, this is really, really sad. So I thought, I need to start a new club. At this stage, I didn't really know about satellite clubs in 2012. So I decided to start a new club. So I got a whole bunch of people who had left Rotary, who really liked it but didn't like the style of club we had. And we started a brand new Rotary club. Now, I was really lucky. We had 4 past presidents, 3 past secretaries, 2 past treasurers. Like, I had a board already made up. And when we started, we had 50% women, 50% men, and we had lots of younger people in the club. I think we had 5 sets of like either father and son, father and daughter, whatever in the club. So that was good. Yeah, and the club's still going from strength to strength now. It's great. Look, I'm 58 and I'm one of the grandpas in the club. That's how the Rotary Club of Green Hills started.
Wow. That's an amazing story, and if we had a few more or a lot more situations like that, our membership challenge might be a little different. I want to go back to something that you said a little while ago when you mentioned satellites. You've mentioned them a couple of times. There's a misunderstanding doing the rounds that the only use a satellite club has is as the seed for a new chartered club. That's not correct, is it? You can have successful embedded satellites. Would you like to speak to that?
Yeah. So I mean, satellite clubs are there for clubs that don't have enough people to start their own club of their own accord. They haven't got 20 members, and they're like a sister or a daughter of the mother club. But they run like independently with oversight. And they don't have to worry about bank accounts because the mother club worries about that. And it usually works out in a great situation where you've got, as I said, a mature club, and you've got younger people who want to go and do different things. You know, they don't want to do some of the things that traditional clubs do. So it's an excellent opportunity for, 2 groups to work closely together. I mean, they both want to do the same. I talked about, when I started the Green Hills Club, that I could see Rotary as like radio station. I used to compare it to the local radio stations. We've got Triple J, which is the kiddie rock station. You've got New FM. You've got the ABC. They all do the same thing. They all have news. They all have entertainment. They all have music, sport, etc. But it's all done differently because they're trying to market to a different demographic. If you try to market to everyone, you'd market to nobody. So you've got to really work out who your market is. Now, if you look at your members in your club and you say, okay, our average age is 83, like, are you really going to be able to get 20-year-olds in the club? Maybe not. But if you were starting a satellite club, those younger people would love to be part of Rotary as the whole, doing their own thing, meeting at their own time, their own place, their own space, and still being mentored by the senior members. So satellite clubs aren't just for starting off new clubs. Obviously, if the club builds up and they get 20 members and want to go out on their own, they of course can do that. But it's all about getting more people involved with Rotary.
You've been in this situation of starting a new Rotary club, and obviously that you had a very, very successful outcome. We have a number of people who are in the early stages of doing that at the moment. Some of them are finding it easier than others. With your experience and from where you sit as our membership coordinator, what can we do as members of other clubs at a district level and whatever to better support those people in that important role? Because the more people we have starting new clubs, the more healthier our network is going to be. So, but how can we support them better?
Look, I think the best way to support them is to be there for them without telling them how they've got to do it and saying, this is how we've always done it, you've got to do it the same way. By just being there, by talking with them, by just giving them the support that they need. There's lots of people who can help. And as I said, you've got Barbara. Barbara is listed our Rotary Regional Membership Officer, is absolutely fantastic. But Barbara doesn't know about membership. nobody knows. Just get some help, get the team on board. Talk to your assistant governor, talk to your governor, your club president, your membership chair, your district membership chair, your club membership chair. Get as many people working on the situation as you possibly can. And I saw a comment there about it's hard for young people because they don't seem to have a lot of time. Well, it's really good now. We don't have to meet for 3 hours every week. We only need to meet twice a month, and that doesn't need to be for that long either. So, in our club, we mix it up. We have a breakfast meeting. We have a board meeting, which everyone's invited to. Mind you, not a lot of people actually turn up, but some people do. And we have a social night as well, and then we have a dinner meeting. So we mix it up and make it very easy for people to attend what they can attend. Because, some people joined our club when it was a breakfast meeting, but now their occupations have changed or their work's changed and they can't get there in the morning because they're managing or supervising people or travelling or whatever. But by having the night meetings, they can participate. And of course, Rotary is about participation, not necessarily about attending meetings. We don't judge people's participation by what meetings they attend. We judge their participation by what they actually do. Now, we've got people who do a lot of things but don't get to a lot of meetings, but they do an enormous amount of work. One I can talk to you about is two of our dentists in our club. They manage our dental project and they're constantly training and talking to and working with our dentist over in Papua New Guinea, but they can't often get to meetings because they're busy with their practices or with their young families. But as for participation, they're doing an awesome job.
Thank you, Adrian. Adrian, you mentioned obviously one of the prime aims of today was to provide a better understanding of the things that your network, your coordinator network, can do for the broader Rotary network. I have first-hand experience with one of your deputies, David Egan.
David is a wonderful assistant Rotary Coordinator, past governor, assistant Rotary Coordinator, very, very enthusiastic, very dedicated. And if David doesn't know the answer, he'll find it out.
Well,
I can see him on the screen too.
Yes, I was going to talk about something that David presented on about a month ago, and that's the remarkable story that he was involved in as president of the Rotary Club of Adelaide, where they had this large, second largest Rotary Club in Australia that was going the way of a lot of Rotary clubs, loads of very, very experienced and older members, but essentially on a downward spiral. And by bringing in an improved strategic planning process and by getting member participation, they've turned the whole place around over 4 years and got a diverse and much more representative of Rotary Club that's attracting where young people are introducing other young people. So the sort of situation you were talking about, how can we get that sort of story out to the grassroots level so that others can learn from that? That's the challenge.
That's a good question, Carol. And I think we've got to be encouraging people to get onto the membership voice, for example, onto the Facebook page. Encourage them to attend these webinars. Encourage them to read Rotary On The Move and see all the different success stories that there are. There's lots and lots of success stories. And you just got to do something a little bit different. Look outside the box. If you want to attract young people, talk to young people about what they want to see and do. I know in our meetings, we're doing them by Zoom at the moment, but one of the things they do is they do this cahoots thing where they've got all these questions and you've got to do something on your phone. But they've got lots of great ideas and we have a lot of fun. Young people haven't got a lot of time, so if they're going to put time into something, it's got to be worthwhile, either fun or they've got to be able to achieve something. They've got to be able to see their work. And yeah.
That's a great lead-in segue to something else I want to talk to you about. You know Rebecca Fry?
Yes, I do.
One and only Beck Fry, past Rotary Act Australia chair, who started the Rotary Social Impact Network, which is a radically different form of Rotary Club, no meetings, all done in collaborating in different ways online. But the thing that's really relevant about the Rotary Social Impact Network this week is it's Rotary Reconnect Week. And the Rotary Social Impact Network is made up 100% of alumni.
Mm.
And it has what is potentially 200-person waiting list. So
Amazing.
is there an opportunity to roll out similar kinds of, it's a kind of model where you could have a Rotary Club and they have members in six countries, I think. And so it's obviously not bounded by national boundaries or constrained by national boundaries. How could we roll that model out, say, so that others might learn from it and get more alumni involved? Because I suppose there's a question.
Well, it is, and Beck's got a good story to tell. And of course, there is that opportunity out there. You know, if we think about all the people who have been through our Rotary programs, our youth exchange program, both in and out, our RYLA, Rotary Youth Leadership Award program, our Ripen, Rotary Youth Program in Richmond, all those different programs that we run, there's so many people there that we could invite to our club. Just an interesting story. One of the programs we have up in our club that we have up in Papua New Guinea is we're working on a dental clinic and also a hospital and a school. We took a group of school leavers up there. We call it real schoolies. So instead of going up to the Gold Coast and getting on the grog and doing all those naughty things you're not supposed to do, they decided to come up for 10 days up into the Highlands of PNG, up to the wild country. And we took 6 young school leaders up there. We had 4 or 5 new younger Rotarians who wanted to experience it as well. And of course, some old people like myself had been up there many times before. And while we were up there, these young people could see firsthand the things that we had done. You know, like transporting hospital beds that were going to be thrown to the tip, actually getting them into a container, getting them up there so that the mothers could have their babies on a bed rather than lying on a cold floor. And when we took these school leaders up there, they said things like, Adrian, I didn't know Rotary did this. I think I was just about old men having chicken for lunch. I didn't realise you did these sort of things. How do we become involved? And we said, oh, well, you've just got to show you're interested and come along to some meetings and tell us what you want to do. Anyway, they did. And so now they're members. Out of the 6, we got 4 to join. 3 joined our club and another one a club a couple of hours away because that's where they were situated. And they're working on programs already. They're raising funds to help educate some young girls who wouldn't have a chance of higher education, if they didn't get the funding. They're putting mother and baby packs together so we can send them over. They're really interested and into it. As you said, the young people don't have a lot of time, but if they've got something they can put their energy and passion into it, they'll do it. They will do it.
Thank you, Adrian. You mentioned Rotary On The Move, which is a pretty important means of communicating within our membership community in Australia and New Zealand. You and your predecessors, and Tim in particular, have been doing a great job on Rotary On The Move for some time now. Looking at it from where you sit in the organisation, what can clubs and districts do to help you to spread the word of the content of membership of Rotary On The Move more widely, so that it can inspire more people? What sort of things would you like them to do?
Well, 2 things, Tero. Number one, if the people who get the Rotary On The Move can actually share it, it's a link basically. So if we had all the districts share it, I know our district puts it in the Governor's monthly magazine, the link. So everyone's got the opportunity to have a look. Now, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You just got to make it available for people to get to. And if you subscribe to it, it'll drop into your box once a month for 11 out of the 12 months. It's great stories by people like David Egan, who writes stories. I write one every couple of months, and Jesse Harmon writes one every couple of months. And we collect all good news stories from all around Australia. And as I said, Issa Shalab does a great job putting together. So he's 11th year now. He's been the editor of the magazine. the publication. So yeah, let's share it. So if you haven't got it, let me know, and I can get you on the list. And then once you're on the list, you'll be on there until you take yourself off. Clubs and districts can send their stories in. So if you've got something that's worth sharing, share it. Now let's help each other out. If you've done something good, tell people about it. If you send the story either straight to Issa or to me, we'll get it in there so that everyone can have a good look at it.
Fantastic. Looking at just perhaps another couple of questions, if you don't mind, mate. Looking at perhaps the not invented here issue that comes up from time to time when we have keen volunteers and perhaps local interests and that sort of thing. We've had some remarkable success stories. We touched on what Adelaide is doing and has been doing for some years. At a district level, of course, we've got what's happening in District 9640, where Andy Rajapaksa has been taking the place by storm, as was covered in the last membership forum. How can we get or encourage districts to be more receptive to picking up successful ideas from each other? Because there seems to be a bit of resistance there.
Well, Kira, I think it's a bit like that with a lot of Rotarians, how they don't like change. They're used to what they're used to. And it's people like Andy who have gone out there and seen that we need to have different sorts of Rotary. We can't have the same Rotary in every club in every district. We've got to have different Rotary clubs, different types of Rotary clubs. And then we've got to encourage people to have a go. Do their homework, get some help behind them. Ask your assistant Rotary Coordinator, ask myself, ask Andy or Barbara. We can give you all the tips and tricks about how you get it started. It's just baby steps. It's not difficult to do. It's not difficult to do. And it's such a sense of achievement when you see all these people who would never ever join the local traditional Rotary Club, but have joined your club and are actually doing something. They're actually making a difference in the world. It's such a great sense of accomplishment and achievement.
Super. Thank you, Adrian. Adrian, just perhaps one or two more questions. How has the membership challenge changed in the time that you've been sort of in senior leadership roles in Rotary?
I think the main thing is that we've been given a lot more flexibility. There's a lot of flexibility now, Kara. I remember going back where you had to meet every week, you had to attend 60% of each meeting, you had to attend so many percent of the meetings, blah, 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 blah. There were so many rules and regulations now that you've just got to meet twice a month. And that can be online, that can be for a short period of time, for whatever. There can be a service project. So there's so much flexibility, and it's all about participation rather than meetings. We don't want to just go to meetings. I mean, meetings should be used to A, have fun, or B, make plans for how you're going to do projects, not meetings for meetings' sake. No one wants to go to a meeting.
An initiative that was started by one of our young 26-year-old Rotary presidents in Western Australia, she and her sister are co-presidents this year, was a question basically asking people, why are you in Rotary? So my last question I'd like to put to you, Adrian, is why are you in Rotary?
That is a wonderful question, Kero. Now, my father was not a Rotarian, but he had a very good friend who was in Rotary. And he asked me to join. He said, would you like to join Rotary? Would you like to come along? Because I'd moved away from my hometown, been away 10 years, and I came back. And he said, it'd be a good way to meet some different people. And I thought, oh, this is interesting. I'll have a look. I'll see what they do. I discovered that my grandfather was a Rotarian. In fact, he was the second president out of Kurri Kurri Rotary Club. So there was Rotary in the blood. When I went to the meetings and I saw what they did, as in with Youth Exchange, I became involved with that. When I saw the overseas work they do, working with youth, I was really impressed with the different programs and the different projects and what they did. Did I like the singing? No. Did I like the joke session? No. There were worse than bad jokes. They were really, really poor. But I had the vision to see through all that and understand that Rotary is a big picture, and not everything has to be for me. And there were so many good things in it that's why I joined and why I stayed. And then I guess, going on, why did I become president? Because I thought I had something to offer. And why did I put my hand up to be district governor? And I guess I thought I had something to offer. Another thing is I saw what some of the other district governors were before me, and I thought, well, hang on, if they can do it, I can do this. So I guess that's how I got involved. And I just thoroughly enjoy it. I've got friends all around the world now, all around the world. We've got we've hosted over 30 exchange students, and I've met up with them in their hometown. About 25 out of the 30. There's only a few left to go. Of course, this year made it a bit difficult. And it's just really, really good to get to know all these different cultures and how all these people work. And these young exchange students, they're wonderful kids. One comes to mind who was a young blonde girl from Germany who people thought that she was a little dizzy. I don't know if that's politically correct, but anyway, a little dizzy. But she's an astronaut for NASA. She's one of the smartest people you can, she's absolutely fantastic. I remember going to see her in Germany, and she actually took us to a Schützenfest, which is something where they get a gun and they keep shooting this bird till it breaks or something. Well, that's the theory, but there's just a lot of drinking and eating going on. And I'll tell you what, that was a night that I won't forget. I think Christine, my wife, had to help me home.
Thanks, Adrian. We have had a very last minute question in here from Anne.
Yeah.
Should each Rotary club have a sister club? Interesting idea.
Well, it is an interesting idea. I think it's a great idea. We've got a sister club in Taiwan who've got a lot of dentists and want to help us with their dental project. I think it just depends. Look, there's a lot of things you can do. I mean, each club is autonomous and it's up to them what they want to do. I think it'd be a great idea to have it, just like I think it's a great idea to promote all the different fellowships we've got. We've got some great fellowships in there's a couple that I'm involved in. One is Brew, which is beer Rotarians enjoy worldwide. And we recently had an Oktoberfest all around the world. So they started in New Zealand at 5 o'clock. So we had Oktoberfest 5 o'clock on the Saturday everywhere in the world. So we started in New Zealand, then came to Australia, and then we just kept moving around. And that was fantastic, just to talk to people who had a similar interest. I'm also involved with the hosting hospitality group. Unfortunately, we're not doing a lot of that at the moment with COVID. But anyway, that'll all turn around. So in answer to the question, should clubs have a sister club? Totally think it's a great idea. Just see whether the members of the club want to have it.
Well, I like that observation from Melissa and Peter about seeing clubs being involved with Indigenous communities too.
Oh, certainly.
I think that would be fantastic because I don't think we do quite enough there. But sorry, that's just my opinion. Before we go, did you want to perhaps have a last sum up?
Look, I'd just like to say, have a think about whether or not your Rotary Club is servicing your community. If it's not, think about starting a satellite club. And if you need help, ask your assistant Rotary Coordinator. They're there to help you. That's why they get paid the big bucks. So
use the network.
Use the network, yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this afternoon. As you know, these days, there is a tradition where we've had a great speaker, where we ask everyone to switch their microphones on and join me in a round of applause for Adrian, please. Well done, mate. Thank you, Adrian. Absolutely fantastic.